Hi, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Lynn. How are you?
Morning, Jocelyn. Hi, everyone. Good.
It's year end, and everybody is feeling the vibe of holiday season. And of course, the vibe of holiday season comes with a lot of remembering love, especially. And today we're going to speak about that. We're going to speak about love because this is a very big part of all of us. It's a very big part of our lives, actually. But the way we view it, it could be different according to what we have experienced, according to our circumstances, according to our environment. So it just could be different for each of us. But at the end of the day, we all do experience this as part of our lives, right? So love is not just about a feeling, it is more of a relationship that we have with our own heart itself. It's about how we feel within us, within our heart. So
Mm,
it is more about connecting with our heart. It is more about feeling safe. It's more about understanding and finding our truth, right?
mm.
And how does that feel for you, Lynn?
Yeah, I think as far as love is concerned, it's a lot to do with opening our heart and connecting with others on the heart level. And from that perspective, then in soul contract, just want to bring it back to soul contract here. There are a few prominent numbers that have a lot to do with heart or love. That
Yep,
is 7 and 13. But of course, there are other numbers as well, like the 12, the 16, the 4, 22, and a little bit, I think, in the 2, the 8, the 20. There is lovingness, but it also has more to do with emotional relationships and
yep,
things like that. But of course, everything ties back to the heart and what the heart feels.
yep,
So yeah, those are the key numbers that if you have a lot in your soul contract, then maybe
yep.
a big
Yeah. So
theme of
today
your
later we are
life.
going to be focusing just on a few that we think is more relevant, right? And I think before we even dwell into that, one of the big things is when we're talking about opening up the heart, it's about understanding why even certain things are part of our lives imprint, right? When it
Mm,
comes to love, how has that even been a part of us? How did that suddenly even appear? Many times we may recognize a certain incident or a certain experience, and from that we have developed that connection with love itself and our heart. Okay.
mm,
And one of the big things that we want to look at is this pattern. Okay? A lot of experiences, because before we even go to that heart part, right? How that heart, because heart develops emotions, and these emotions are what gives us the experience, and eventually it becomes an imprint in our heart. And that later on gives us a lot of experience that we carry forward into different relationships and different parts of our life. True? Okay. So, one of the big things that we have noticed is childhood itself, where a lot of us would have gone through childhood in different circumstances. And these circumstances could actually give us the experience of different kind of experiences with this love. Okay? So, for example, like how did people around you react to love? Okay? Was love something that was expressed all the time? Or was love something that was very protective? Or were there things like unconditional love that you experienced, or was it with conditions? Because sometimes, without us realizing, we have had conditions um, subconsciously put into this whole theme of love.
mm,
Okay, as simple as during childhood, to say that, oh, if you do this, you're gonna make me proud, right? That is already conditioning that if when something happens, I'm going to feel that love, right? So there are many areas that conditions this as well as experiences. And I'm sure, Lynn, even while growing up with childhood, right? And even we have seen a lot of our clients where most of this actually come from the very beginning, childhood itself, right?
mm,
And those little things that sometimes subconsciously they could have experienced is now seen as a bigger part of their lives, right?
Of course, love is one of the biggies because we have three pillars: power, love, and truth. As far as source or God or the divine is concerned, these are the three big pillars, or the even in esoteric psychology, is the first three rays that generates the rest of the universe. So if we trace back, it's probably from the beginning of time, not just this lifetime. But whatever it is, it always shows up in the current lifetime when it
Right.
comes to relationship with yourself or relationship with other people. And of course, in childhood is where everything starts, because your family, your parents, your primary caretakers are the source of love and
Yeah.
protection. So there is something like what you said, conditional, or there is some withholding, there is some absence, then definitely it would cause some form of lack of love or
Yeah. Yeah.
sort of thing.
A
And
lot of
we
it
call
can
it heart
happen
wounds.
sometimes subconsciously as well without us because I think in the Asian side of it, we have been always taught to excel, right? And excelling sometimes needs like you have to prove your
Mm.
worthiness or your love in that sense, right? So all those things could be a part of us as we grow up, and this sometimes can translate into early relationships.
Mm.
Like your first heartbreak or your first relationship, because the conditions or the lack of that emotional presence during the early times could somehow show up here as well. And these patterns repeat. And that is when we already put this label to say that love hurts or love lives or love has got conditions. It actually comes with a lot of experiences because love itself is experience based, right? And those experiences get embedded into our heart and into our imprints, right?
Mm.
And another thing would be family dynamics as well. How was the family household itself? Sometimes people could have a very calm household, so it could be too calm that it takes time to actually build that trust. Okay, or
Mm.
sometimes it can be very chaotic. So it all again depends on family dynamics and I think cultural influences as well. I think this is a very big one, right, Lee?
I remember somebody commenting about the Indian culture where there's a lot of emotional ransom. Like, oh, if you do that, you're gonna make mama sad or make daddy angry. So there's a lot of this thing around um, conditionalizing
Yeah,
relationships, and uh, if the kids are gonna do something that are not accepted in the family or in the society as a cultural standard, then there will be certain lack or withholding of love or connection from the rest of the world or the rest of the
yeah,
society.
yeah, yeah,
Ostracized, you'll be outcast. And that is to block the flow of love. And every society has got certain standards of behavior that you have to follow, whether it's success, whether it's obedience. That's how culturally it affects us in the sense of seeing there is love or there is no love, or
yeah.
whether I
And
need to earn it in some ways.
yeah, and we grow up with all this around us. So it could be childhood memories, it could be family conditioning or society conditioning or even cultural conditioning. And what happens is somehow all of this becomes imprints in our lives. And if we notice, everything that we actually do in our lives are from past experiences. And same way, even past trauma can be a part of this as well. It can have a different reflection on the way you express your love or the way your heart feels about love even. Perhaps, some people could have gone through betrayal or being abandoned or, emotional neglect. So all this eventually brings to how the heart eventually feels and reacts to even the word love.
Sometimes it's not just what happens to us, but it's what happens in a family that we witness as a child. And a lot of kids with 11-2, for example, would tend to take on dysfunctional patterns of the family. So the mother is being unloved by the father, then the child will grow up thinking that you can't trust your male partners, for example. So it's actually not first-hand experience, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah, true, true.
a
That's true
dysfunctional
because
pattern.
yeah, that's true because perhaps they grew up in a family where everything was so by rules and regulations even, and they had to follow those rules and regulations without allowing what they wanted because that is already suppression of what you like, what you love. So there is a very wide way of looking at this, right?
Yeah,
So we can't just, as why we said, love is a very huge topic, but we are just trying to see areas in soul contract where we can relate this to, right? And what happens is along the way, it affects our lives as well in terms of our relationships. So this is where we have noticed even with clients, especially those who have got um, certain frequencies like the sevens, right? Because they are already healing their heart, right? Because of the past experiences, they tend to sometimes attract relationships that mirror their own self-love. Okay.
mm,
Yeah. And even they may feel like when they're even not valued, it is okay to stay on because it could be a thing that they have seen in the past, even in their cultural background or growing up. So this is one very big thing that we have seen how it can affect your life right now or even your future relationships, right?
yeah. I think in a lot of societies, divorce, for example, is a stigma.
Yeah,
Like the
yeah,
woman cannot leave the relationship even though there is no love. So maybe the daughter grows up thinking that why would I bother stepping into a marriage if I can't step out of it if there's no love. So the younger generations these days, a lot of them choose to not commit to a relationship because their heart is closed from
yeah,
witnessing the adults. And then there is all these stigmas, even like in many societies, even for the man, it is a shame to actually tell people that they divorce. For example, I've seen that among my clients. So it's really pushing people in to a, to a different direction.
yeah,
Either way, there is the heart being closed, there is the mistrust in love, and yeah, especially those that I've seen with a lot of sevens in chart.
yeah.
After a heartbreak, that's it.
Yes, yes, a very big one. Yeah,
Stop engaging in relationships altogether.
true, agree. Absolutely agree. And somehow it not only reflects a relationship, it's also reflecting with self-love, right? Because when that self-love is dimmed, then what happens is subsequently a lot of other things kind of get this bowling ball effect. Decision making becomes a bit harder because now you don't trust whether that decisions come from truth or not. Okay. And because a lot of times the heart has been hurt and closed, um, you kind of avoid setting these boundaries because you don't want to have conflict already now. You
Mm,
kind of want to just move away. And somehow it hurts the heart even further. And definitely like emotional health or physical health, all that is affected as well because stress comes in. Because heart is a very big thing that we actually speak about. It can be a smallest organ in our body as well, but it is one of the hugest emotion carrier for all of us. So not only it affects the way we deal with people, but it will also eventually affect the way we feel about ourselves, how we make decisions, how our health is, whether it's emotional or physical. So yeah, healing the heart becomes a very big difficulty eventually because
mm,
of all these experiences that we have been through when it comes to the heart matters, right?
yeah. I've seen a lot of clients or a lot of charts with servants in key positions, and a number of them actually experience certain conditions related to the heart.
Yeah.
Of course, high blood pressure is a very common thing,
Yes, yes, yes.
but there can be other things like blockages. I'm not saying that if you have sevens, you you're gonna have heart conditions. No, but we're talking about if things are not being seen and taken care of from the root cause,
Yeah.
and if you're not looking at your love life in the sense of how you love, how you treat yourself, what's your relationship with yourself like, and also in relating to others. Like, for example, the sevens tend to be very much busy doing things for others, bridging people together, but they themselves are not showing up. They are not connecting with their own heart. They're hiding their heart, they're hiding their
Yes.
emotions and their feelings. They're not connecting with people on the heart level. So if that prolongs and if things keep going that way and they keep not showing up for themselves, then metaphysically, at some point, there's going to be something.
It's a buildup of
Wrong.
stress eventually. Yeah.
So just we're saying that just gotta be paying attention to what you have in the chart, how it shows up in your life. And if love is a big issue or a big theme in your chart, then really see how much it's affecting you on emotional level, on physical level, on mental level. And then from there work backwards and start peeling the onion layers so that eventually you'll get in touch with that flame of love within your heart. Yeah.
True. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so let's just look at this chart so that we understand, our audience can understand as well what we are really speaking about. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So this one has got quite a number of sevens, right? So this is actually a chart whom I've done a reading for before. And of course, the minute I saw it, we already know that there's a lot of heart matters in that sense,
Mm.
right? So the sevens, one of the main themes that we always look at the sevens and we tell them it's about healing their heart. And the minute you ask them, these are a lot of with the matters of the heart and how do you feel about that, you can already see the signaling there, right? A lot of sevens go through a lot of heartbreak, that's for sure. I think so far all the sevens that we have seen, they have gone through heartbreaks. And this is not just small heartbreaks, and we're not just talking about little heartbreaks. This is literally they have got their heart hurt. Okay.
Mm.
And it's very, very deep. And they feel it. Yeah, maybe we have got our heart hurt before, but with the sevens, they can actually feel it a notch higher, a
Mm.
notch deeper in that sense. And this is where they develop a lot of mistrust. They start not trusting things even for themselves. And that is where decision making becomes difficult. And sometimes what happens is they tend to attract the same situation back because they feel they are not able to make the right decisions. But in fact, they are quite smart actually in decision making when it becomes flipped over, right, Lynn?
Yeah, very objective, very logical.
Yeah.
Mm.
Exactly. So when I will look, especially at this chart, if you look at this chart, the dominant frequency itself is 7. So when we say dominant frequency, that simply means that they have got more than at least 4 of those same frequencies. So here you've got like 5. So
Mm.
whenever we look at someone's chart with this, we immediately know this person has gone through like so much of heart matters in that sense. And
Mm.
key things that we would advise them to do or direct them to a direction, if you're asking me a direction, would be like healing the heart. Okay.
Mm.
And healing the heart definitely means working on trust, working on decision making, trusting their own decisions, right? And
Mm.
things like that.
And especially with the 13-4 and Soul Destiny,
Yeah, yeah,
there's also another close-hearted number there. It's all very catalytic numbers, but it's
yeah,
also tough lessons to
yeah,
graduate from.
yeah.
That's a very lovely chart, I would say.
Yeah, it is. I think this is a chart that carries a lot of love actually, because the 13 fours are also about unconditional love, you know, apart from just looking at the hurting part and the part where they have been hurt. But when they turn this into their strength, so that is what we always advocate and we always speak about, turning your challenges into your strength, right? eventually with the sevens, they are able to reach out to people because it's a very networking kind of number. You're able to reach out to people and show that love in many ways. And even the 13 fours are able to love unconditionally.
Mm.
So it is a huge, beautiful number to carry. But of course, with every frequency, there are also their challenges as well, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I think it's a very beautiful chart. Honestly, this person was a beautiful person when we did the reading, right? And you can feel that love in that person because there's just so much of that going on.
Mm.
It's just that the experiences created the areas of this person's life where there was a lot of hurt and mistrust, and the heart felt like it was already closed, literally closed. And oh yeah, one thing that I noticed with the sevens, right? Whenever you have a reading with them, you can actually feel that the heart feels, and whenever you ask them, like, do you feel like your heart is literally closed? I mean, physically, and most of them say yes. It's only because of the experiences that they have been through, right?
Yeah. Then again, on that part, I think even if the person has got a very deep wound on the heart aspect, doesn't mean that the gifts are not showing up yet. It's for a lot of people with wounds, we still see that the gifts are expressing already,
Yes, yes.
whether they know it or not.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely right.
what we want to emphasize is that if you can work on healing on a deeper level, then the gifts will be opening up on a deeper level and also can be expanded to reach more people, to touch more lives.
This chart belongs to someone who is on social media actually.
Mm.
Doing networking, who is brand ambassador and who is very much out there. And I guess because, like you mentioned, the gifts were already there. And once they start to actually look at these gifts, then they're able to use that part of it already. You know, of course, challenges are going to be there. I mean, it's not like you just put a bow on it and tie it and put it aside, right? But learning how to transmute that is going to be the beautiful part.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Okay.
So I think we went like quite a bit more than what we thought we were going to go into love, because love is like so many sections of it, right? And so many different experiences.
Mm.
But for today, we thought we'll just focus on seven and the 13 fours. And of course, the four itself, four is another frequency of abundance, abundance in terms of love and areas like that, right? So hope this was helpful. Anything just to close it?
I think it's a very big thing. And from my experience, when we can actually get in touch with that feeling or that sense of unconditional love, it's just pervading and it's just a very beautiful emotion.
Definitely.
Uh, but if we keep distrusting in what's the potential like and we keep the heart closed, then of course physical or emotional as consequences are one thing, but I'm talking more about like we miss the opportunity to experience beautiful relationships or the positive impact that we can have on other people on different levels. It's just the contrast of the different kinds of life that hopefully if you walk the path you would be able to experience the opposite of what close-heartedness is.
Yeah.
Yeah, open up yourself more. I mean, this is more for those who actually have heart wounds and have experienced that issue. Because I also have a lot of clients with sevens, and sometimes it feels a bit sad, that they either give up totally
Yeah.
or in a relationship they just can't connect and
Yeah.
they just keep staying in a disconnected relationship and it's not fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. And we will see you soon now next episode. Bye.
All right. Bye bye.